Mayor Taylor, absent. Councilmember Redina,
Here.
Councilmember Watson,
Here.
Councilmember Iyer,
Here.
Councilmember Briggs, absent. We have a quorum.
Can I get a motion to approve the agenda? Watson, Iyer. Any discussion? All those in favor? Approved. Can I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes from July 8th? Iyer, Watson. Any discussion of the minutes? All those in favor? Approved. Seeing no unfinished business, we will move to new business, which is the council newsletter.
Oh, hi. Yeah. So I just, given how long it took us to get through the process the first time, it's like, okay, we just did this, but we should probably start thinking about timing for the next one. So I just kind of wanted to put that on the radar, get a sense of anything that we might need to be thinking about in terms of timing, especially with the communications department undergoing a little bit of a transition, to put it lightly.
Yes.
And so that's part one, and then part two is given that there seems to be increasing support on council for it, particularly after the first round went out and really showed, I think that the land use plan issue has really showed, how important it is to have these touch points with residents en masse, whether we can explore finding a permanent funding source. Because I think that was one of the reasons that at least one council member voted against it, just because there wasn't like a permanent funding source and we were taking it out of the reserve.
The newsletter will be in the base budget. Until you all
Wonderful.
Say you don't want to do it.
Sure.
Because we needed to get through a cycle to see where everybody was, if there was support, majority support, where that it is. So it'll be in there. Now, Councilor, are you anticipating any format changes or anything?
I think so.
Because even with the transition coming, the communications director, I'm not aware of any issue we would have in keeping it going. Whatever the cadence is supposed to be, I'm going to in on the details, but if council wants to go forward, we'll be able to function and get it done.
Okay.
I know that I kind of expressed this before in our discussions the first time around as well, and kind of modeling after what we see from some legislators and things like that around kind of some of the standardization of the newsletter. I know we had the section that was standardized on like all of the important contacts, stuff like that. I do think it could be helpful, and this is more of a, I think, process question than anything we'd have to do in policy, because I don't want people to have to create a bunch of things that might not get used. Mm-hmm. But if there is a pertinent issue like the land use plan, like this last time around, I think every newsletter touched on the land use plan in some way. Mm-hmm. I wonder if there is similar standardization of language that we could be using from the city around, here's where you go to get more information, here's where you go to provide feedback, things like that. That isn't each council member kind of drafting their own language around some of these issues that are going to be maybe in every newsletter. I know that that's not always. My newsletter also focused on the closure of or the renovation of the fire station, right? Like that was pretty ward specific. Mm-hmm. But for those like citywide things, I almost wonder if we could work on a process to have work on kind of standard language that can be used in every newsletter to, again, just create as much standardization as possible from my perspective, which cuts down on the possibility of it being politicized or whatever those things are from a city perspective.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a question for the new comms director.
I guess my one thought was, it's good to have a lot of information on that holdout. for some of the things, for some of those kind of like evergreen items, the different numbers for the departments or something, it might have been a little easier for people to kind of keep it if it was like a smaller thing on thicker paper, even kind of like thinking like a fridge magnet kind of size. So I don't know, just thinking about if we want to go with that same fold out size. And I did hear just anecdotally from some people that when it came, kind of being white on the outside, folded up, it wasn't as clear that like you had to open it. I just got actually a fold out, a trifold mailer from Senator Schenck, and it was specifically on like water resources and like parks and outdoor activities in the summer, and that was pretty notable because it was the same like fold out style, but definitely kind of a little more visually arresting.
Yes.
You really want to open it, so
Yes.
so yeah. So
Okay.
maybe I can
Good.
show you that.
Yeah, no, I felt, when I saw the finished product in my mailbox, I kind of felt the same way. Like, I wonder how many people might not open it or might not realize exactly what this, I mean, it's, it's a new thing too. So, but yeah, I agree. I think we could do something with that.
And then the last thing that, and maybe this is more of an ask for staff, and I don't know if it's possible or if this is information we get back, but with these kind of mass sends, do we get anything back from like the post office or anything like that in terms of undeliverable numbers or like returned pieces or anything like that? I guess I'm looking for like the actual success of the mailer in terms of how many households did it actually hit. Maybe that's not something we get back. But I asked that because I know that mine hit because I heard from people that they received it, but I also heard from people that they didn't receive it, and I actually never got the mailer at my house. So I don't know if there were, a certain number that were just like never delivered, or if there's a stack of them sitting in the post office somewhere, which sometimes happens with mass mail, or those types of things. I don't know if that's any type of data that we actually get back on these, but it'd be something I'd be interested in as we look at, making this a more permanent thing, knowing that we're actually getting what we pay for.
We'll check into what we do not know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
So could we target kind of mid-fall for the next meeting?
When did the last one go in?
What's the timeline for the new comms director to be hired?
I mean, we're working on it now.
Right.
It's hard to say. Because what the variation is, anybody we hire will have a job.
Mm-hmm.
And some need 6 weeks to leave that job, and some leave in 3 weeks. So I'm not sure, but we're working the process of it.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that
Yeah.
I didn't create a situation where it was like immediately something on a brand new person's plate. But
It sounds like what I'm hearing from you though is that staff could carry you through.
Yes, but that was before you talked about changing.
Oh, okay.
If you're talking about changing the format of the layout,
right.
that's
Okay.
different.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd have to inquire about how easy or difficult that would be, depending on who's here and
Okay.
who's not.
Okay. Yeah, if you could just let us know. I just think about, I would love for them. Yeah, the March is kind of when they started, and it went on through April, end of April. And so, if we're doing them twice a year, 6 months out would be September. Pushing into October seems fine. I just want to avoid, I guess, holiday. I just feel like, but once you get, ideally, we could send it during the holidays. It's not a big deal, but I'd rather not.
well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe we just set that as our target and then adjust as needed.
It's funny. I did get I'd say, I did count them, but I think it was only like 4 or 5. But I got a couple messages saying, "Why are you spending money on this?" But I was like, it was good that they emailed, like, that showed they took, like, these are people who had never emailed me before.
They know who you are.
Conversation. Didn't want to know that they expected, it shows people are picking this up and now they know who I am.
Yeah.
But I mean, they know who to call.
Yeah.
And they want to express a feeling on the city extension.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I will just say anecdotally, the woman who was the inspiration for me to do this, you know, was so happy about it. She's an elderly woman, who, yeah, just always, she and I, we talk on the phone, you know, she calls me probably every month, and we just, you know, have a conversation. She doesn't use email, she doesn't sign up for my newsletter. And so, you know, she was the one who gave me the idea, and she was so happy that we did it, and she was so unhappy with the people who were unhappy with it. You know, and she's like, you know, we deserve this. You know, everybody deserves to hear from their council members in a way that that works for them. So
yeah, I would say that definitely came through for me too, especially during some of the conversations we've just had over the last 2 months about comprehensive plan process, and hearing from so many people how important it is for them to get something physical. Sometimes, you know, we heard from a lot of people about how important those postcards that they get from the city are, and having that as a way to hear about things that are happening. And so,
someone actually wrote in. They had a meeting with me after, and they brought in the physical mailer to talk about it. Like, I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right, got it handy. The grand concern.
Thank you.
yes. Information and upcoming business. We have updates from the administrator or the attorney's office.
Just one, I'll just mention, we're involved in a lot of planning discussions with the university about this upcoming concert. It is their intention, it shows well, that this will become a thing that they do. Historically, the university hasn't been in the concert business because of the design of the stadium. The big name acts all roll in big trucks, and they can't get through that tunnel. There is a different size piece of equipment that now can navigate the tunnel, and we had actually had discussions about using a crane. Not ideal, but possible. But when I say we, I mean the university would be using a crane and stuff over the wall. The reason I'm mentioning it to you, and the reason we're talking about it with Destination Ann Arbor and others, the people that go to University of Michigan football games is essentially the same crowd. They've been going for years. They know where to go. They know where to park. They know what the rules are. They know how to get in and get out. People coming to see John Mayer and Chuck Bryan are probably not football goers. They don't know where to go. They don't know that there's not a big parking structure. They don't know that they got to walk X number of blocks. And it's going to be a thing where the city is doing the upfront piece, trying to navigate getting people in. They'll have their own version of tailgating. This thing won't end until scheduled 11:30 p.m. at night, and it's going to have a fireworks thing that happens after it. So we probably will be hearing from people, they liked it or they didn't. And you're going to have, as was pointed out, in a lot of university football games, we're up 35 points. People are going home. Mm-hmm. They don't wait till the last. But at a concert, you're there till the last note gets sung, and then everybody leaves at once. So we may have some growing pains with this first one. Stay tuned. But we're trying to do a lot of messaging to the extent we can. It's not our event, so it's up to the university, but a lot of us are talking to make sure that we're fully coordinated. So if you're coming to a city for the first time and you don't really have a clue where you're going or anything about parking or getting out, you'll be dealing with that.
Are we, I mean, I assume it is a stadium full of people, it poses a similar security risk. Are we committing as much in terms of city police resources as we would normally for a football game?
Yeah, because this first one is the first one.
Right.
They sold out in a couple of hours. What we were told, these are not necessarily folks I follow, so they have a profile of who typically is at these. It's mostly female, it's mostly in a certain age range. It's no bigger or lesser threat than a regular football game.
Right.
Except for people will be drinking for a longer period of time before the thing actually starts. So there's that.
At least you don't have people cheering for opposing artists. There's no conflict. All right. Thank you.
That's all I have.
Anything from the attorney's office?
Kathleen is out this week. She didn't ask me to bring anything up, and I'm not aware of anything otherwise, so nothing from the attorney's office.
I hope that she's getting some. All right. Any other information about upcoming business from the body? Seeing none, we will move on to public comments. I know that we have someone in the room and a couple of callers online, so we'll start in the room.
Okay, Kathy Griswold, opportunities, given that we're having this concert, people have approached me regarding inadequate illumination, i.e. unlit crosswalks, especially on Packard and in the near campus area. I think that the University of Michigan needs to address some of this and prioritize it and work with the city if, in fact, we're having concert goers and people who are not familiar with the university, because I've had at least a half a dozen requests for better lighting in the near campus area just in the last year. So, and Ann Arbor tends to be a city of wishful thinking. We say things and therefore they're true. And when it's planning and you really don't know what trickle down is going to do for 10 years, you can get away with it. But we've had many false statements, I'm sorry to be blunt, but false statements regarding the pedestrian crash rate. And I don't know if people don't know, but the city stopped reporting crashes. And when I was on council, I requested that the crashes be included in the administrator's report on a monthly basis, and that has been very valuable. In 2023, we had the highest number of serious injury and fatal pedestrian crashes in over 10 years. In 2024, we had one more of those type of crashes. In 2025, we have had more serious injury and fatal pedestrian crashes year to date than in all of 2024. And the fall, when the students return, when the light changes for daylight savings time, there are a number of issues that make it even more dangerous in the fall. So I'm very concerned about that. I sent out another email today clarifying some of Darna's comments. She seemed to be confused about a few things. An opportunity. The Sustainability Committee tonight is going to look at sidewalk gaps, but what we really need to do is expand that to the public right-of-way. And if we could educate the public about where the public right-of-way is and that it's available for the public to use, and that people really can't plant arborvitae and put large boulders right up next to the curb, I think that we would improve our pedestrian safety rate, and we would also not have as much animosity when we try to put a sidewalk in on what people think. People think it's their garden. People think it's their private property, and it's not. And at King, I'll be real quick, at King School, not only do we not trim the vegetation, I go out there and trim it, and I'd like to request that we identify where the public right-of-ways are on the path going out from the school, and also address, in one case, a woman has put pots and boulders in all the way to the curb, making children walk down the path, and they can't even walk in the public right of way along the curb. They are forced out into the street between cars. And she doesn't realize that's not her property. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone online who would like to come?
Please press *9 to raise your hand.
Thank you.
See anyone with their hand raised?
Seeing no one, public comment is closed. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please? Senator Watson, all those in favor? We are adjourned.